Hey guys, Mr. E here, and today we have another viewer-submitted loss video on our hands. We're going to be doing a breakdown on what went wrong in this situation. I really enjoy doing this sort of video. I think I'm going to try to do at least one every day for the foreseeable future, so please keep them coming. Send them to me at misteretide@gmail.com. The best way to do it is to upload it to YouTube really quickly and send me a link. But yeah, that's awesome if you guys could do that. I think a thing that about Darktide is that oftentimes it will just end your run and then you'll have no explanation as to what the fuck happened. So if you can get that captured and upload it, I would love to go over it and break down all the little decisions that add up to the loss as a whole. And this video in particular has a number of them that are kind of intricate to pick out. So let's get right into things and look at this clip. Today's clip comes from Zino145, a person who, if you watch my streams at all, which you should by the way, we know Zino145, and we know that he loses a lot of games because it seems like about half the games he loses are on my fucking team. But this one, fortunately, I was not involved in. Let's go ahead and assess what we have on our team and in our kit. We have an Ogren and an Arbites. We're off to a strong start here already, I see. We've also got a Zealot who is using Chorus, and they have 1 wound. Our ammo's kind of low, but not like terribly low. We'll be able to survive this without a little ammo for a little while longer. And then we are currently playing a Bubble Psyker with a Demos Force Sword. This is a Void Blast staff, and we have a Med Syringe and a Med Kit. And we've got Brain Pop. Okay, so let's go ahead and play for about 5 or 10 seconds, and there are going to be 2 mistakes that are made here really, really quickly, and I'll see if you guys can pick them out. Alright, so post down in the comments, scroll down in the comments while you're going down there. You should subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, like the video, all that stuff. But post in the comments, what are the 2 mistakes, or what are 2 mistakes? Maybe there's more that I'm not picking up on, but there's 2 major mistakes that they have made here. One is a decision by the whole team, and then the other is a decision by 1 player. So what are those? Go put them in the comments. And this might be a thing that you might only know if you have a lot of experience, but that's what we're here to do, is to take that experience from players who have lost a ton of fucking games like myself and share that so you don't end up in the same situation. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward this a little bit so there's a better frame to look at than that blurry ass one. And we can see dead in front of us the first, well, not the first decision that they made, but perhaps the worst decision that they made was made by our Zealot here. They are currently using their Chorus ability. So Chorus is an amazing defensive ability. It is a reactive ability. It is not a proactive ability in the same way that Veteran Shout is. If you entered into this elevator and you shouted as Veteran, it has a 15-second gold buff duration, so by the time you reach the top, you'll probably have about 5 seconds of gold buff left. That'll be okay, and it has a very short cooldown too. But as you can see here, this Zealot now has a 50-second, at least he has cooldown reduction curious, but he has a 51-second cooldown to get this Chorus back, and that's not even counting the fact that the Chorus gold buff only has a 10-second duration. So watch the health bars, or watch the gold toughness on our health bars. Those will actually fall off before we get into any fighting at the top, and this ability won't be back up before whatever happens is going to happen. So that's a really, really crucial mistake. And remember, the best thing about Chorus is that it's a pause button. Every enemy that gets hit by that AoE effect of the pulsing just stops what they're doing, and if they'd had this at the top, it would have made a world of difference. But it's not the only thing that could have saved us. The other mistake, if you didn't catch this, this is a thing I always do when I'm on this level. This is Dark Commune at the very end, by the way. We only have 1 bridge to go before the final encounter, and this area right here, we can actually see up there a little bit, like a couple pixels there. This area right here is directly below where you're going with the elevator, and you can actually see enemies and stuff up here that are already walking around. They're loaded in. So what you can do, especially when we're playing the Psyker with Void Blast and Head Pop, is just start to brain burst them while they're standing around up there. What they'll do, because they can't reach you directly, is they'll go up, they'll walk through a spawn door, they'll despawn, and they'll come out over here. Can I rewind a little bit to see the... right there, there's a fence right here, and they'll spawn in over here where you hear this trapper right now, and then they'll hop over this fence, and you'll fight them right here. So you can pull everything from that top section down and get rid of it, and that is so helpful because this area up here, where they're going with the elevator, just like in the last video we analyzed, is one of the most dangerous spots in this level, because you come out completely exposed. The elevator they can shoot into, there's no real cover excepting if you get over to the left, and it can be really, really dangerous, and it's just a precarious place to fight in general, and there's lots and lots of spawns. There's usually a big horde and bosses up here too. So we want to get every passive spawn, all the roaming patrols and stuff out of the way, bring them down to us and clean them up. Slow your roll, guys. Pull everything you can to your advantageous positions and then proceed with the level. And the reason we also want to do this is you hear all the churn, the noise from these enemies. Yeah, so there's currently a horde going on, so they really rush this. That horde, if they waited, would have hopped over this fence too. So they're going to get inundated by a lot of enemies when they get up here. Wait, hold on, we got to check that scoreboard. Oh, it looks like, wait, no, this is enemy staggered. Oh, Zino popping off, but Zarya doing even better. Oh, Arbitrator, of course. Yeah, oh, with our RPG shock wall. Okay, we understand why they're doing well. All right, guys, so here we are coming to the top of the elevator. I want to just preface this by saying I'm going to be going over this next minute and 30 seconds with a very fine-tooth comb. So it looks like it's only a minute and 30 seconds, but I bet you this takes at least 10 minutes. There are a lot of mistakes here. There's simply a lot of mistakes. And not least of which is we don't ever end up using our med stim or our med crate, although I don't think that those are anywhere near on the level of the actual mistakes that led to this catastrophe. What's actually going to go on here is almost entirely unrelated to our own play as the Psyker, but it's pretty much our teammates. So if you are one of Zino's teammates here, I want you to know that this comes from a place of constructive criticism. I am going to probably be a little bit tough in the language, but hey, take it on the chin and do better next time, because there were a lot of really, really bunk decisions made here that caused this to unfold how it does. So remember that we've already made one bad decision with using the chorus ahead of time. As I said previously, we already have lost the gold buff, so there's no effect of the chorus anymore. We had a very safe elevator ride thanks to chorus, and that's about it. But here we are at the top of the elevator, and we are immediately going to make one other mistake, which is we're going to throw down Nuncio Aquila. So we've thrown down Nuncio Aquila. That will offer us no benefit because we're not going to be taking damage inside of this circle. It's placed badly, and it's way too early for any potential engagement, and it's inside of a bubble, so we even can't take range damage or chip damage while we're in here. The other mistake, well, I mean, we're reaping what we sowed, right? We didn't pull any of the enemies in the top down, and so we've got gunners over here, we got gunners over here, we've got pink enemies here, and I want you to pay extra special attention to the VIP, the MVP for the enemy team for this encounter, which is this purple Bulwark right here. He is a healing Bulwark, so he's going to heal everyone in his radius, and for some godforsaken reason, we can't actually ever seem to fucking kill him. The reason that I think he never dies is because for some reason, our Void Blast Psyker is the front line here. They're the only one that wants to actually leave the fucking bubble or leave the circle and actually get up here and deal damage to the enemies. I don't know what our Ogren is doing. I don't know what anyone else is doing. They are maybe shooting enemies at ranged, but where is everybody? Imagine an Ogren up there beating all these enemies to death or something, but it's not happening. So these enemies take very little damage because all of the ones that aren't purple are getting healed back up by these purples because it's, Void Blast, and that sucks. So we end up having to just back off because no one is supporting us. And the other really big issue that I'll be coming back to that I think is probably the single biggest mistake in this entire thing is this Ogren right here. This Ogren uses their ability one time in the rest of this encounter, and he has taunt. He has taunt on his bar, and there are a number of occasions. I mean, obviously taunt is on like a 40-second cooldown, and you could use it like every 20 seconds if you're staggering enemies. You probably have that talent, right? He could be using taunt, and he could absolutely save this encounter. He could stop this encounter from ever even happening, but he never uses the taunt. He uses it one time, and it doesn't taunt any enemies of value. So that is the single biggest mistake that happens here. Note that this pink Bulwark is still thriving. We are still alone on our own up here. Okay, we're coming in, we're clubbing nothing. We're just swinging at the air here. And I think the problem here is that the Ogren is scared. somehow this guy is just scared. He's blocking, he's swinging at nothing, and now we're also fucked, right? The twins have shown up, and wouldn't you know it, we're a psyker, and that means that I think it's hard-coded in that the melee twin is going to go on you and try to murder you. Now, fortunately, the rest of the team doesn't seem to give a shit about us, so they're actually not playing anywhere near us right now, so they're going to avoid the first attack that she always does, which is the big slash, fortunately, because otherwise I think it would have killed everyone else outright. They are all up here finally fighting the enemies that we were fighting 10 seconds ago, but in the interim, we have actually incidentally used our Void Blast and bursted a crusher off to the side here. You can't see him just yet, but he's come around the long way. He's playing the long con, and he's about to come in off the side of the frame over here. Right here, we've got our pink Bulwark, our hero Bulwark, who is, again, no one is fucking paying attention to these pink enemies. And no one is paying attention to the Psyker. Where is everybody else? What is the Ogren doing right now? Because he's not attacking this twin. He's not hitting them in the back. He's swinging at, again, nothing. He's swinging at the air there. We also are going to see a little frame here. Actually, we got to go back a second because I think that was the last known footage of our friend Zarya. So, Zarya, I don't want to, RIP, pre-RIP Zarya, but Zarya is going to die very shortly here to some mysterious circumstances. We will never know the cause of death for Zarya. We can only conclude, based on the fact that they tried to dodge here, and instead they jumped, that they maybe mistimed a dodge and have dodge and jump bound to the same key, which they should definitely go into their settings and fix ASAP, and maybe it got overheaded by a crusher or something like that. So that's great and good. Okay, so we're into the box of pain now. Isn't this familiar, right? This really smacks of something very, very familiar. I can't quite put my finger on what I might have literally just watched yesterday, but we're in the box of pain, and it's even worse than last time because we've got a Bulwark now, and the Bulwark's going to make our life a living fucking hell. Fortunately, we get some assistance from our Zealot friend, who is for some reason using a Devil's Claw sword, and for some even more questionable reason, oh, by the way, RIP Zarya, for some even more questionable reason, decided to position themselves in front of all the other enemies who are already facing our Psyker here. So now we have no way to actually attack the Bulwark, and I guess there's something to strengthen numbers, but it's just inviting everybody to get slapped by the same melee attacks, including the twins' melee attack. Now, okay, so we got 3 members left, right? So we've got our Zealot. I think what happened with the Zealot is they panicked because they started taking damage, and so they ran into here, and they found out that things weren't much better inside. Fortunately, we are playing Force Sword here, so we can block pretty much all day. And unfortunately, we have the Ogren, who has still not used their taunt ability. Now, what would be amazing, I think, is if the taunt went off and it pulled all these enemies out of this arena. Let's see what happens when he does use his taunt. Okay, he's used his taunt. I didn't notice any of the enemies in front of us being taunted, though, so he must be taunting some random stuff outside, which is great, because we are fucking dying over here with everybody else on the team, and the Ogren's off doing his own thing, when he could be pulling all of the actually threatening enemies off of our 2 most important characters. We still don't have Chorus up, by the way. We have another 5 seconds before that'll be up, so that's great and dandy. And, of course, our pink Bulwark, our pink hero Bulwark, is still alive and thriving. Zino flipping his camera around like a madman there, and we have to dodge that. Bulwark still alive. And finally, we get Chorus. And thankfully, we do use it pretty promptly, saving Zeno's life, because he goes down to 4 HP thanks to a Crusher punch there. And what he does is this Chorus pushes the twin and pushes the Bulwark out of the carriage, which is nice, gives us some space, but it doesn't actually ever kill the Bulwark. So the Bulwark is still alive, and he's healing this Crusher at range. Watch how long it takes for this Crusher to die. Okay, holy fuck. The Crusher's finally dead, and notice right here, pink Bulwark, still alive and thriving, baby. Living his best life out there. No one gives a shit that he is just being the absolute MVP of this game. We are now back into the same position as before. We still got the wall of steel on us, and we've, of course, got the twin who's not going to let us leave this room. Wouldn't it be great if the Ogren came over here and helped at any given point? Who knows what he's doing? I think he is currently dance dodging around the ranged twin. He's not actually meleeing the ranged twin, because the ranged twin won't shoot at you if you were in melee with them. So he gets shot. You can see the Ogren gets shot by the ranged twin. So he's like fighting maybe a trash or something. But what he could be doing is coming in here and actually just dunking on this this melee twin, who is in the perfect position. If everybody on the team was in here and just beat her down, she could get CC'd, we could put up bubble, and then we wouldn't have to, and we could put down the healing kit, and we wouldn't have anything to worry about. This would be a winning situation from this point if the Ogryn just came in here and beat this shit to death. If he got rid of this pink bulwark too, who is, you know, lurking behind the shield there. You can still see him. MVP! Instead, our Zealot misses a block here because we're, again, standing in the same 5-foot fucking square as our other teammate when we've got an enemy in front of us who is slicing and dicing everything in front of them. And like I said in yesterday's video, the thing that is going to kill people about this twin is they are never paying attention when she does the huge arcing slash. And that kills people 9 times out of 10 because it cuts directly through your toughness and your health at the same time. Okay. So now we're fucked, right? But thankfully, the Ogryn finally realizes, oh, hey, I have teammates. I have teammates I should be helping. And he comes over here to join the fray. And look, once you look at that, he used taunt, he came in here, he killed the bulwark, and he pulled the melee twin away. So she's now actually finally off of our fucking beleaguered Psyker. Now, what would have been really amazing if he like stayed on her and put some melee damage down. But remember, he's scared. He has no clue what's going on. So he's just running around in the fray, and he's just run out in the open. And where he's standing is completely open to all these gunners that are all the way down the center there. He should be getting over here behind these massive pillars and getting some cover. But I just don't think that they have the manpower at this point, especially since Zino has neglected to use the health kit and the med syringe, which would have been really handy to keep y'all topped off. But from here, it's pretty much inevitable because the Ogryn just cannot survive out there on his own, and with that being dealt, the melee twin is going to remember, what was I doing before? Oh yeah, I was killing this stupid Psyker. Fortunately, our Psyker does have the Vorst sword, so you can block all ding dong day. But there's really no place to go from here, and there's no way that you're going to have the damage to solve the situation. And we're going to survive. And now we're dead because we're outside the bubble. Okay, so we thought about typing nice try there, but thankfully you backtracked that because I don't think that was a very nice try. I think that was everybody panicking. I think just based on looking at the health bars on these twins here, everybody fucking lost their minds when they showed up. No one had any idea what was going on. They were already in disarray. I can only imagine the pain in getting this team this far, but I can already imagine the disarray of like dealing with those like 5 enemies that were already up there, and 2 of them didn't get killed after 30 seconds of fighting, and then the twin showed up and it just fried everyone's brain. So the decisions that were made, there's a couple of really, really big ones. I want to point them out right here. The most crucial frame in the whole engagement is right here. This is where everything turned, and it could have been saved from here. It could have been dealt with flawlessly from this position here. What should have happened here? The Ogryn should have taunted. It would have immediately pulled this twin and every one of these enemies away from the Psyker, and it would have grouped them up. Then he could have taken them and moved them over to this side of the screen behind this large pillar, thereby zoning out the ranged twin. In the meantime, Zino should have been using their staff to focus down all of the ranged enemies, so like gunners and stuff like that, who aren't supported by pink enemies. And the Zealot and Arbites should be going and beating all of these pink fucking bulwarks to death, or pink whoever's to death, so they can't support them, and clean up any of the crushers and trash, and then dump on that boss, dump on the melee boss who's there. In the meantime, we would have received our ultimate backup, our bubble backup, and then the bubble goes down on top of the melee twin, and now the ranged twin is completely nullified, and you would just easily beat the melee twin to death with no problem. At the same time, you could have dropped the health kit, used the health stim, whatever you needed to do, but if the Ogryn had taunted here, almost no damage would have actually gone out, because you're only 18 seconds away from another chorus, and you're only 12 seconds away from a bubble. There's really not that much damage going out here. I mean, you can simply see by watching the toughness bars, the Ogryn stands outside of the box of death for pretty much the entire encounter and never takes any damage. He, from the beginning encounter here to this point, he takes 11 damage being outside, and then he dies to like a million gunners at once because no one was managing the situation. But staying outside of this box of death was perfectly safe the entire time, but everybody just willingly decided to jump in here and get themselves killed, other than Zeno, who sort of had that lifestyle chosen for them by being like bull rushed into it. But that's my analysis, guys. So in retrospective, what Zeno could have done better is use the health kit in order to sort of salvage the situation, and potentially also definitely try to get yourself out of this little box. Use the med stem to boost the health of your ally here, and just again get out of the fucking box. The zealot should not have pre-cast chorus before getting into this situation, and should have instead used chorus as a way to push these enemies back and then kill the pink bulwark, and then get out of here and go and support another character, potentially try to pull the melee captain off. The Arbites should have saved their Nuncio Aquila for a better situation, and should also go into their settings right now and unbind dodge and space from the same key. Bind space to dodge and bind shift to jump. Thank you very much. And then our Ogren should have been taunting early and often. They used the taunt twice in this, and only the second one had the intended effect, which was finally fucking pulling this boss off of the weakest character on the team and pulling them away so that they could actually get out and breathe. But it was too little too late. So that taunt should have come out, and we should have been beating down on those pink bulwarks, any enemy, the bosses, whatever it was, getting some real damage done. When you're an Ogren, your mace should be connecting with face 99% of the time. That is the operative thing you need to be doing. So there you go, guys. Another failed run broken down for you. Good try there, Zeno. I saw that you had an idea of how to maybe survive the situation, but yeah, I just don't think that it came together in the end. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember to submit those clips to misteretide@gmail.com, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.